little bit there. I'm recording now, you guys. All right, so just note that who else is in the room? You know, we have a really nice mix of people who have varying degrees of improv. And I just want to tell you a little bit about myself as we get started. My background is I've been in VO since 2001, and May 2001 is when I pretty much graduated from studies and booked my first job from the people that I was studying with. So I was very excited to step into the world. I've been full-time since about 2009, 2010. I technically call it one or the other in various bios that I write, but that's as long as I've been doing it full time. Nothing, no other kind of work, no other kind of side income. And I learned improv before all of this when I was dating a comedian. And he got me to go to improv training over there at the Bats place. It's called Bay Area Theater Sports in San Francisco. And in LA, I kept doing it because I really enjoyed it. But I was from a corporate environment. And so I was a terrified improviser. Let's just put it that way. So I totally relate to all of you who have that in your past or current situation. I work out weekly. I have a group, and let me just let some people in. I have a group that works out weekly, and I've been working out weekly since basically 2013. And I don't describe to a particular school like IO or SC or UCB, but I love them all. I mean, everybody brings something when they come from those schools. I come from an acting background. I studied Meisner in Hollywood. So I just feel like wherever you get your training, the most important thing is that you get your training and then you start applying it to your voiceover and everything else that you can apply it to, because it's super fun when you do. Let's see, I founded ImproVO in 2013 and been doing it since then. We offer classes. Everything's changed a lot since the pandemic. There are a lot more people doing stuff online because of that. But I was the first one doing it online and in audio only. And in audio only is kind of unique because we believe that we're working in audio only as a voice actor. So it's a good thing to play with. Oops. So for those of you who have joined and would like to, if you got some background noise like I just heard, if you don't mind putting yourself on mute. But, you know, I just want to ask like Katie and Michael and Beverly and Anna, and forgive me if I've missed anybody who I already know uses improv. How is improv helpful to you? Anybody? Jump in.
My training, I've been doing animation for about 42 years. And before that, I did improv. And that was really my only acting training. So if it's something that was enough, when I started doing ADR, post-production, I found that all the people in the ADR group were improv actors because it's not scripted.
Right.
And you have to, especially that's true for ADR and post-production loop groups. You've got to just be able to come up with stuff on the spot.
Right.
And then animation too, because back when I started, there weren't computers or anything. And you'd show up to work and you'd see your script for the first time. And then they'd say, well, can you play this character or whatever? So, you know, to not be worried, some people like Coach, if they're from theater and they want 3 days to study their script, and that isn't going to happen in animation.
No. And not in voiceover either. That reminds me of a story. Don't let me forget it, but I want other people to talk. So Michael, can I throw the ball to you?
Yeah, I would say improv helps with being sharp. It just keeps you on your toes, and funny books. And so if you have a lot of characters, and especially if you're funny off the cuff, you're going to book a lot.
Yeah. And what I want to add to that is something I put in the newsletter that I sent out in an invite. You don't have to be an entertainer to need to learn improv. You don't have to be an entertainer to think that you're going to be good at improv. Michael has a natural funny. There are other people that have natural funnies that can entertain people like that on a dime. Maybe they're really good mimics, whatever. It's just going to let you be you. This is what I think is the bottom crux of it all. Inside of what Michael's saying, inside of what Katie's saying, it helps you be a good actor because it helps you be you and let your imagination and intuition guide you. And those things we often Well, let's say we cover them up, we close them off when we become adults, depending on how you were raised or what work you went into. Maybe you had to shelter that stuff and hide it off or cut it off. So improv really helps you just tap into that stuff again. And if you're naturally inclined to that, it helps you burst out, and have fun. And I want to add to what Michael said. It helps me have fun with clients in the session. Right. So you can goof off and just feel like you don't have to be all silent or not you can't just be yourself and ask questions or whatever, because you can, and you can do it in a fun way, and you can make goofy sounds or noises and say, this is audio only, so I just want to entertain you. You can just do goofy things and be yourself, and let whatever you find funny to come out. Who else wants to throw into that? Yes, David.
Yeah, actually, I was going to add to that actually, because I was originally going to say that it essentially allows you to be the 100% you, or even 500% you, and depending on what kind of range of you that that you want to express out there, and that can help with you, whether it be personally, if you're making new friends, if you're in a new social situation, at a party, and you don't know anyone or whatever it may be, to help open up to other people, or professionally if you're doing, say, a job interview, or if you're trying to land a sale or something like that, it's just allows you to kind of open up and to not so much entertain, kind of being the dancing monkey in a sense, but more of just allowing you to be loose and making it okay, I guess, for other people who you're interacting with to also be loose, and just makes it a more pleasant experience for everyone involved.
Right. Yeah. Great analogy. And I love the 500% you. That's totally nailing it in another way.
I tend to go to more 250 myself, but yeah.
It just depends. Yeah. And it's all about learning to play and learning to experiment and feel that feeling of fear if you have trepidation about it, and going through it anyway, because that's the only way you're going to get beyond the fear, if you feel frozen like a deer in headlights. Because a lot of people I've trained over the years have said in the beginning that they wanted to tear their face off. They wanted to run and hide. They didn't want to do it, but they knew that it was important. So maybe they forced themselves and had a bad experience or whatever. So here at I love that VO Improv, we really try to make it a safe place, and kind of probably we're the place where you can come if you did have a bad experience too, because we'll treat you with kid gloves in a way, but we'll also push you to the edge so that you find that maybe 101% you. Did somebody want to add something?
I think it helps you tear away. It did me. The self-conscious, oh my God, they're going to think I'm stupid. Oh my God, they're going to think I suck. And to get beyond that is getting to that 500%.
Yeah. I often refer to it as pushing that envelope, getting to the edge of your comfort zone, and then just getting to the outside edge of that so that you don't feel like you're in terror, but you feel like you're stretching a muscle, like when you have to work out and you have to kind of do something more, because otherwise you won't grow, right? Your muscle or your experience. Cool. Thank you for those of you who have been joining while we've been chatting. I've just admitted you, and we're in the midst of our discussion of, is improv helpful to VO? You can see that on the screen. So now I think we've talked about that a lot. I think we've expressed how it is helpful in different ways. I also wanted to add some specifics to that. It's really helpful in commercials to and we're talking about commercials and narration, let's say the baseline of the majority of voice actors who aren't doing huge, Disney films and that sort of thing, who aren't the LA based. These are more, maybe your blue collar workers of voiceover or something, but ads, explainers, web videos, e-learning, promos, ADR is probably more LA, but it helps you in these cases, and even with character voices, to build a world for the scene that you're trying to create with the script that you've been given. And this is what I propose a lot for folks is when you get a script, you want to build a world so that you can be a character in that world. Maybe you're yourself, maybe you're a little bit more 125% yourself. But it does help you build a world. For audiobooks, you can really nuance characters. There's a person who was working with us for many, many years. Several of you will know her. She's not here today. she is Darla Middlebrook, and she has been doing a lot of fantasy fiction audiobooks, and she'd worked out with us for several years. She had to stop for other reasons that don't have anything to do with us, but she has just really always talked about how it helped her get the nuanced character and change those voices more quickly as she was getting more flexible and agile being an improviser too, and in front of the mic and in an audio only situation. So she wasn't worried about anything but what she could hear and what she could deliver, you know. For characters, I think we talked about it by saying it helps you build a world, but it also helps you practice those characters. So if you've got a little character and you think maybe it's just a voice, but you can establish some kind of background for that character by playing in improv, playing in the sandbox of improv. So it does help you build character voices for which use would be in audiobooks, video games, or animation. And in general acting skills. Again, hitting on some of the points we already did is releasing your personality with confidence and being you from 100% to 500% and accepting a variety of direction. We didn't really talk about this too much, but just yesterday I was in what should I say? It was sort of like, do you guys remember what a screen test was for actors? It was like a voiceover screen test. And they were having me do a variety of things with a character to try to see if I was a good match for that character, right? And I was just going for it. You know, that's all I could do because it really switched from what the audition was and what I had presented and gotten selected for to something kind of different. So I was really having to be on my feet and be on my, be really flexible and be very accepting of what they were helping me try to do, right? So accepting a variety of direction from a variety of people over time, it just really helps you with that improv.
Can I jump in with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about improv, and I'm just I always send people to Rebecca because I think it's so
Thank you.
helpful.
Yes,
But when you're in a session, you never know when somebody's going to throw a direction at you
Right.
that you weren't expecting. And so that's when the deer in the headlights can happen. But if you can just be open, because direction comes. I showed up for a job once, anime thing, and we had auditioned for these characters, and I got booked. And when I showed up, I said, which one am I? Because I read for 3 different. I said, oh, you're not any of them, but there's this other character. We had an audition from years ago from you, and we think we want you to play that. And they never told me before I got there. So to be able to not freak out, I think improv is good.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm trying to say too. Yeah, to not freak out, man, because I could have freaked out yesterday, right? I could have thought, oh, fuck, I'm totally not prepared. And I swear to you, there was, because a little tiny bit of that was in me, that little voice. And I think by doing improv regularly, you learn to shut that voice off as soon as it pops up in its ugly little place, wherever it is,
Just yes and it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hello. Yes. Yeah, there you are, you little twerp. I'm going to shut you out and then, move on. Also,
Homer Simpson, I basically just strangle that voice. Why, you little.
Yeah. And another thing that I don't know we talked about was for auditions and for in session, for both, you can increase your speed and flexibility. So, sometimes, like I've mentioned in my improv workouts, I might take 10 minutes for an audition, sometimes longer, but sometimes I get it done in like 30 seconds. I'm just like, I totally nailed it. And I felt really good about it. And a lot of that has to do with just knowing what you're trying to hear, and being involved in improv helps you listen a lot more. Listening is really important in improv. And I think what we're all saying is you do have fun, and you can have more fun, and without trying so hard. I think that's really important. You lose that sense of effort so much and just try to be more in the joy. So those are reasons why improv is helpful to voiceover talent. Now I want to do a little bit more interactive stuff, man. So let's do some warm-ups. And since Mr. Michael Robles is here, first of all, I want to introduce you to him. He's our weekly workout leader right now. And say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, there he is. And
hi, Michael. Someone's humming in the background, which is nice
yeah.
background music, but a little bit distracting.
Thank you. If you could mute yourself. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do emo face. And just to preface it, Michael is going to lead us. And essentially, it's kind of a random emotion he's going to call out. And then we're going to feel it, but we're going to express it in sounds we make. And you can go on mute or you can stay on audio. I'll stay on audio and Michael will be on audio. And we'll all just be making sounds at the same time. It's a cacophony. That's fine. It's okay. And also make body and facial expressions that go with the emotion. And it's whatever you're doing is good. Whatever you're doing is right. It's just playing right now. There are no rules beyond just trying to do it. Okay, Michael.
Awesome. Okay. This will be, you don't have to do audio, so let's just work up to it. So here we go. This is just play 100%. Don't worry about it. Let's just play. Go big face. Little face. Big face. Enraged face. Happy face. Loving face.
I love you, Michael.
Concentrated face. Anxious face. Love struck face. Jealous face. Jealous. Sad face. Seductive phase. And hilarious phase.
Okay, good. Awesome. Thank you, Michael.
Yay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I got my tongue throwing out. Spit.
It's so great. I worked with Michael like a long time, and I've never seen your face.
It's so nice to see people every once in a while. Yeah, because we work mostly in audio only. So it's like, oh, it's hi. Yeah, it's like different. Now I want to do Baby Boo. This is something that I got from Debbie Derryberry's Instagram. It's totally goofy. You guys can play along. It's all for everybody. It's part of our warm up. And this is a new one for Michael and everybody else. They haven't done it before unless they happen to follow Derryberry on her Instagram and saw this particular video. We're going to do a newborn baby, a 3-month-old baby, a 6-month-old baby, and a 9-month-old baby. The newborn is a grunt and gurgle. So it's just. Good. Now we're going to go to a little bit older. We're going to get little short coos. Now we're going to go to 6 months and we're going to go for longer coos and some laughter. Baby, baby, baby stuff. Now we're going to go to 9 months. And essentially this is babble. So you can do grunts, gurgles, laughter, long, short coos. It's just a mix of it all. It's the exploration of the vocal for the baby. All right.
Me.
Yay. That was super fun to hear all that in the background for me. I'm sure it's super fun for you guys too. Oh my God. So that's Baby Boo. And now the last game is called 1 to 10. And this is a group game. Come on off your mic if you're on mute. This is a total game about patterns. Now, one of the things you learn in improv through practice, and we're going to totally, first, this is a game you totally screw up multiple times, badly. And that's what makes it fun. So one of the things I want to reiterate for those of you who don't know or do know, to state for those who don't know, is laugh at your mistakes. We're gonna make them, so who cares? This is just for fun, really just to practice feeling, just being ourselves in a goofy, playful way. All right, so this is 1 to 10, and what we're going to try to do is talk from 1 to 10, one at a time, only one person at a time, one number difference. So if I say 1, Michael says 2, somebody else says 3, and we get to 10, no repeats. If we repeat a number by accident because 2 people go at once, we have to go back to the beginning. All right. So that's how it's played. It's really simple, and it's stupid mistakes. It's funny. So here we go.
There's no order.
There's no order of people. That's why it's randomly we're going to speak, and that's how we make our mistakes. And that's what makes it
And we only
fun.
go up to 10 and then we start over.
Oh my gosh, if we can get to 10, you guys, I will do a
get to
jig.
10.
Because usually we never make it to 10. It would be amazing. All right, so go.
1.
2,
1.
2,
3.
4.
We had 2 people say 3. Back to 0.
1.
2,
Nope, got to go back to 0 because we had 2 people say 1.
1.
1, 2,
1.
2.
1,
2.
2,
1.
1.
4. Wait.
Ooh,
Can you repeat your
76.
number, or you're just stuck? Once you say it,
what's
you're
fun,
done.
we can stop. It's very rare to have it ever happen. And usually when it happens in a warm-up, it's with a group of people who know each other really well, and they start to get this pattern going, and then they get it, and they get to the 10, or you can go to 30 if you want to make it more challenging. So bravo to all of you for playing and jumping in. Thank you. So that's our warm-ups. And now I'm going to get to a little bit of talking at you a little bit more, so we can talk a little bit more about improv and what it is. This is the mantra of improv. It's yes and it's a real simple way to think about it. Besides the obvious, yes, it's true. You corroborate whatever you're hearing from your partner or seeing from your partner. You believe everything that they're giving you. You accept that reality. Okay. Yes, it's true. And plus, you add something. It's true plus. So that's just the basic mantra of improv. It's pretty much in every school and every book you're going to read. It's what we focus on, but we don't talk about it all the time because it becomes something that's second nature. And when you add something, you want to make it relevant to what was just said. So it's like adding a layer upon a new layer, like making a cake or brick with cement and then brick and cement. Okay. That's the mantra of improv. Now, next, what you do with that and how you play with that. So we're going to do a demonstration. We're going to have fun, and we're going to work together because there aren't that many of us here, so we can do this.
Mhm.
And what I want you to do is jump in when you feel inspired and you feel something that you can add to it. We're going to create a world first, and then we're going to create characters in it. And so what you're going to start with is something that some baseline person gives you. So let's have a suggestion from somebody of a kind of place or a kind of location. All right, not a specific, just go ahead. kind of place, kind of location.
A beach.
Great. I heard a beach. So we're going to work with that. All right. We're at a beach. I think I admitted somebody new. Hi, whoever you are that just got here. We're in the midst of playing with the yes and concept. We're going to create a world first. So we've just decided that world, the baseline for that world is a beach, right? Now, Michael, I'd love for you to help us out in this next part. We're going to take, maybe 20 seconds, and we're going to make sounds that represent something we hear at the beach. All right. So, Mike, I'm going to have you start, then I'll join in. And then I'd love for people who have played this before to kind of come in. It's like sound orchestra, if you remember that name. Anna and Beverly, you can come in. And Katie, once you're comfortable, whenever you're comfortable. And then everybody else, David and other people who have played with me before too. All right. So
this is animals or people? Just people?
It is not people. It is actually just sounds you would hear. Now, I would prefer to not use people because I want to create characters in the scene. But it can be any other kind of sound that you would hear.
Okay.
So whatever that is, whatever that means to you, that's the beauty of this, is it's very free and open. All right.
So not like hey, I'm standing over here.
Right. We don't want verbal talk. We don't want
Right.
verbal talk. We want more
sound.
auditory sounds,
The sounds,
of something that you might hear or notice at the beach. And
Fair enough.
I'm going to let Michael go. And I'm going to back off and just listen and guide. Okay. So then I'm going to invite other people like Beverly and Anna and Katie and David, and then other people as you want to. I'll invite you to join in. So we're just going to go for about 20 seconds. So Michael, whenever you're ready.
Okay. And whenever you call on somebody else, do I stop or do I continue?
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's a great question. Let me just add. What you want to do is you want to kind of leave space for other people. So as new people join, you continue, but maybe you continue much less frequently. And the more people, the less frequently. So we hear this creation of a world by hearing all these nuances of sound.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that question.
Here
And
we
whenever
go.
you're ready. Can't hear you really well. Don't know why.
Probably too high pitched for Zoom.
Yeah,
be picked
whatever
up,
you need to
yeah.
do. We're not hearing you really well, but we got that first part, which was great. Katie, whenever you're ready, you can join in. And then Beverly, join in. David, join in. You're ready. Bravo, bravo, bravo. We went that a little long so we could start hearing it. I think I noticed if I was on audio open instead of on mute, it was creating some kind of blackouts, audio outs. So really nice work. We heard the seal, the dog, the seagull. We heard some waves. We heard some wind. We heard a dog bark, I think. Yes, excellent. So we've started to create a world. And now for the same location for about a minute or so, I want other people to participate by naming things you see at this beach. So we're at the same place. We have a knowledge of what we've heard. And now some of you just jump in. And if we step on each other, just figure that out. We'll keep it going and name something here at this beach in this world we're creating. Something that fits or maybe is on the borderline of fitting. Make it start fitting together. Go ahead.
There's a lighthouse.
Great. A lighthouse.
A pier.
Beach ball.
A beach ball. Great. A beach ball.
People
Sandcastle.
throwing frisbee.
People throwing frisbee. Great.
Children darting in and out of the waves.
Children darting in and out of the waves. Great.
Sandcastle.
Sandcastle.
Umbrellas.
Umbrellas.
Those stupid
boardwalk.
orange balls in the middle of the water.
Buoy. The buoy.
The
Yeah.
beach.
Yeah, the
Stupid
stupid orange ball buoy out in the water. See, there's some attitude. So somebody has an opinion about that. That's really nice. Okay.
A surf
A
shop.
seagull steals a hot dog.
Great. So something about the hot dogs. What was that? Somebody selling hot dogs?
A seagull stealing a hot dog.
Oh, a seagull stealing hot dogs. And what was the other one that came similar?
Surf shop.
Oh,
Surf shop.
Surf
Surf
shop.
shop. Great. Fabulous. So we have all these things that we can see in the foreground and in the background, in the ambiance. Somebody tell me what time of, I think we can assume what time of year it is and what time of day it is roughly. But does somebody want to nail the hour?
1
2
p.m.
p.m.
1 p.m. I heard first. Great. Okay, perfect. So now let's just think about our senses. We've got a lot of visuals. We've had a lot of orals. Now, if you could think of things that you would smell or what the lighting is like, what the air quality is like, what would you add?
Salty.
Salty. Yeah.
Salty. Nice.
Dead fish.
Dead
Cold.
fish. Great.
Barbecue.
Coconut sunscreen.
Barbecue
That's
and
great.
sunscreen, barbecue
Yes.
smells and sunscreen. The hot dogs were cooking somewhere, right? Great, great. And we are protecting our skin. Great. Okay. So now we have this world. We built a world at the beach. And we know that there are people playing at the beach and having fun at the beach and eating at the beach. And there are birds and there are dogs. And well, then we want some real characters that might actually do something that we would then be the voice of. So
Hey,
who
I'm
might,
tanning here.
what was that, David?
Hey, I'm tanning over here.
Oh, you're tanning, so you got a New Yorker guy. Now let's do this, David.
Had to bring
Since
it
you
back.
just came up and you said something, I want to just bring you forward to like play with this a little bit more. This is great. So what you could do is you'd say, well, there's this guy and you could talk like him if you want to. And you could say
All right.
his name is
Lenny.
Lenny. His name is Lenny. Good, good. And
Trying to
somebody
get some color, all right? That's so hard.
Yeah, he's pretty not tan and he wants to get tan. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. But people
right, somebody
keep
else.
getting in my way. They keep making the
That's
shade
right.
over here.
Somebody else besides David bringing us Lenny. We've got Lenny in the scene now.
Dude, where are you from, man?
All right, who's that speaking? Josiah?
John.
Josh?
John.
John, there you are, John Clickman. Great, great, John. So let's not do a scene. We're not doing a scene. We're just creating the characters in it. We're establishing them by verbally talking about them and defining them. So who is your character?
Surfer dude.
A surfer dude? Okay, let's give him a name. What's his name?
Ronnie.
Great. Now, when we're playing with improv and we're creating characters, one of the things we love to do is get really specific. So what's great is we know him a lot by just knowing he's a surfer dude and by knowing his name and Lenny and by knowing some of his objectives was wanting to get tan. Why is Ronnie there, John?
I'm trying to score some stuff, man.
He's going to score some stuff. Nice.
It's California,
Cool.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now we know what beach we're at.
I
Okay,
won't do
great.
that. Sorry.
Okay, score stuff. So see,
No, I'm just like hanging out, man. Just checking out the waves and the beach.
oh yeah. You know, you can speak without all the other characters really knowing. They won't play like they know. This is great. So we have established two male characters, and we would take from there and keep building more characters if we wanted to, or we could create a scene with those two characters. But you've got a lot to work with. They can interact with, they can discuss each other. they have maybe some past history. Maybe there's a deal that's going to go down. Maybe there's a payment that wasn't made. You know, we would find out more about them by playing this through. And the beauty is none of this is actually scripted. This is all improv, and you're creating it just from your impulses, your intuition, and your imagination, because what we've defined. It's really nice to have a specific location to work on, and it's really nice to have some characters that have a little bit of meat on their bones. And we would even work that through a little bit more if we were doing this in a regular workout. But this is just a way to give you a sense of using improv to create. And I want to move on to our next topic. So thank you, everybody, for doing really nice. Really, I know it feels like, oh, but can't we make this in? And can't we? But we only have a limited amount of time. So we're going to move forward, because that's a demonstration of using improv to create from nothing, from zero. Okay. Now we're going to create improvise with words, which is really where we're headed when we're talking about improv with voiceover, right? So I would like to pick some people to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I would like, Ron, are you willing to play? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, I'm going to skip Ron for now. Suzanne, I'd like you to start. Now, the way that it starts, Suzanne, is you're going to finish that first sentence. Once there was, you're just going to complete that sentence and stop there.
Once there was a little girl in a little cabin.
Yay. Okay, great. A little girl in a little cabin. Stephen, I would like you to take the next line, continuing from where we stepped off. So you're continuing the story, but you're given these first few words, and then you continue that sentence.
And every day she went to a small creek near the cabin.
Excellent. Josiah, the next one.
Until one day, the creek was dry.
And Randy.
Which meant that she couldn't go fishing.
And Jackson.
Which meant she had to find something else for dinner.
And John. Which meant that. John. Which
and
meant
she wasn't
that.
sure what she was going to eat.
And Lacey, if you'd like it, the last line.
So in the end, she went hungry.
Bravo. Excellent. And see, everybody
Well
might
done.
have an idea of what the next line should be because you're already in it. But then somebody else may switch it or change the focus slightly, and you're just playing along with each other. It's a really lovely, lovely game. And you can use this anytime you want. You can play with it yourself, do it by yourself, and help yourself get some motivations maybe for a character. Who knows? Thank you for playing with that one. It's nice and quick. And now I want to show you some improv that I did, and if I can get my tech here to work. So close that screen. I'm going to show you, here we go. I did 2 campaigns that I've sort of saved the audition and I've saved the video that was made from it that were absolutely me with improv. And it's not hard. It's not like, it's just ad-libbing, but feeling free, a sense of freedom that I felt when I was doing the audition and I booked it. And so it's not like doing this crazy wild, 5,000% outside, because you're working, you're yesing and you're anding the script, right? You're corroborating the script and you're adding to it within the words you have to say through the emotions and the inflections and the small ad-libbing you might do. So the first one is What Not to Flush. And I'm going to play you the audition, and you can hear me just fine, right? Okay, so here's the audition. I'm just going to play the first part. Your toilet's not a trash can or a place where you toss cotton swabs, paper towels, tissues, or floss. And what about so-called flushable wipes? The answer is no. They get stuck in your pipes. And now that you have a big problem with plumbing, that problem keeps coming and coming and coming. Clogs lead to backups that make a big mess in your home, in your neighborhood. That is unless you don't toss in tampons, cat litter, or trash. Not even a goldfish gets flushed with a splash. Okay, So did you hear all my crazy inflections and everything in a way? That's like a poem. It was like a poem. It was written like a poem. I don't have the text to show you right here. And then that was my audition. And this is the final. And you're going to hear it more. You can see a little bit of it, but it's hard. I'll see if I can make it fit the screen. Hang on. It's just so big. Hang on a second. And then getting it fixed with all these little windows in my computer.
If you hit the green button, oh, there you go.
Okay.
Your toilet's not a trash can or a place where you toss cotton swabs, paper towels, tissues, or floss. And what about so-called flushable wipes? The answer is no. They get stuck in your pipes. And now that you have a big problem with plumbing, that problem keeps coming and coming and coming. Clogs lead to backups that make a big mess in your home, in your neighborhood. That is, unless you don't toss in tampons, cat litter, or trash. Not even a goldfish gets flushed with a splash. Toilet paper is one thing that can go in the loo, as well as the obvious, number 1 and number 2.
Okay. I'm just going to stop it right there so we have more time. You heard that okay, right? You saw that okay?
Yeah, cool.
Yep. So that's an example of how I used my improv to then interpret a script in a very personal way. That's very much me, my personality. But then that booked me the job. There's no guarantee you're going to get the booking, but there is a guarantee that you're going to be you 500%, or that, let's say that was like 300% me. Okay.
You can almost see you interacting with those items. That was the amazing thing.
It's nice. Thank you. Yeah. The feeling you can get, and I think Michael, you could really jump in on this, and probably you too, Katie and Bev and Anna, but Michael, I want to point to you on this because you do improv regularly and you're booking all the time. He's the voice of Denny's right now. Is that when you're doing your auditions, because you have so much improv in your blood already, let's say, you naturally have visions of things and ideas of things that are just flooding your mind. Would that be a good way to explain it, or could you add to that?
Yeah, I would say just play, bring your unique you to the copy, because everybody's extremely unique. You're going to have a bunch of people who read it exactly the same. And the client is looking for a very unique, different way that somebody can bring it. And so that always helps, is bringing your unique you.
Yeah. And for me, I guess, and it's different for everybody, I really get flooded with images and ideas, and I feel like I'm in a space that's different than where I'm literally at. It's like I become playing in my mind like I'm in a space, like we were at the beach. You know, you start feeling like you're there. That's how I play. All right. I don't want to do the other one because I don't want to run out of time. So I will send that out to you in an email, because I actually did a social media post with the other one. So I can just send you this one video and you'll see how it worked. So improv does transfer to VO. You corroborate the script, you add your specifics, and you practice to get better. Because improv isn't something you go and do like a plumber learns how to make the plumbing work. It's more artistic, it's less scientific. But it does increase your confidence, and it does give you a much bigger range of choices that you can make when you're approaching your voiceover script. What else can you add, Michael, to improv transfers to VO, or Katie?
Katie?
Or Anna, or Bev?
I just think that you get used to creating the space like we did in that exercise. So when you're reading something, especially in animation, you don't have any problem just feeling like you're in that place.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have something to add. Rhythm and tempo is extremely important. And I've learned this through sports. You could have the greatest swing, but if you're swinging too fast, you're going to miss stuff. If you're swinging too slow, it's just not going to line up properly. And so what improv has done for me is that it's boosted my confidence, and it's allowed me to add energy where I need it, and then to be able to back off whenever you need it, and then to quickly come back up and add a little bit more energy. So it gives it's like a roller coaster of emotions, and to be able to have that and control it is a super duper great skill to have in improv. Especially because you got 30-second commercials. You can have an amazing performance, but if it doesn't fit within 30 seconds, they're not going to use it. So a lot of times it's timing. Rhythm and tempo is extremely important.
Yeah, and I think like the sports analogy is is a great one to use, Michael, because I mean, I'm thinking of like boxing myself, because I've done like boxing training myself, and like I'm thinking of like the power but also the rhythm on top of that. So like everything has to like kind of come together in order to get the most effect out of it.
Yep. And to add to that, you know, in a way that might make sense to other people, it has to do with finding the rhythm in the script or the phrasing. So like how you'll speak naturally, or how you'll speak which makes sense, because like I had to read that poem. That's a different situation. You don't usually come across that. It was like a Dr. Seussy kind of thing. But even when you're just reading a script and you're like, what's the chunk of information so I can put it out in a phrase that feels really natural for speaking, you know? And improv helps you find those quickly and move into them and just chunk, 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 chunk. And there's a rhythm there too. Yeah. Good.
You know, I think the other thing is it helps you playing these games to stay in character, because you're focused for a minute or two on who you are, not how you sound.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Right.
Oh my God, that's so true, says Ida. She's so, oh my God, you're so right. I think I want my.
Well, I know that, and I told you that a million times before, but I'm glad to hear you're agreeing with me finally.
You need to keep telling me. You know, you need to keep telling me. I just forget these things.
Little Janine Melnitz in there.
Well, see, I did a stage comedy show, and I created a character. Her name was Ida in the show, but then she's just this, I created her because it just, you know, she vibed in a way, and I had to make her Jewish and from Long Island, you know, so it's just what happened. And other people would interpret that same character with those same words in different ways, but now she's part of me and I can pull her out when I want to, right? What questions do we have from other folks that haven't spoken? We'd love to have your questions. We have some time for that.
What type of structure do you offer as far as the courses that are available?
Oh, let me put that slide
do you
up.
do group and individual, or?
Yeah, you know, I do a class. Yeah, I used to do a lot more, but right now I'm doing a 101, Improv 101 for voiceover. And I do that twice a year, and that's coming up in September. And can you see the screen? So that's there. And I'm gonna put these links, I forgot, into the chat. That was a great question to remind me to do.
While you're doing that, my question is, what's with the bunny?
You know, that's so funny. Okay, that's a great question. Well, when I started, I was using I grabbed, you know, first of all, I like rabbits. I just like rabbits, and it became sort of an icon in a kind of a way. It's not really part of the logo, but it was part of a template that I found. There was a rabbit. It wasn't this rabbit, but there was part of a template I found of a website that I was building when I built the website back in 2013, Katie. So the rabbit just sort of grew from there, multiplied from there. And I still bring it around every once in a while, although I used to use it all the time. Yeah, so good question. So we do workouts right now. We're doing a month. This concept is monthly workouts, but you work out weekly, but you pay monthly. And right now we have a Monday workout for those of you who are already experienced. It's at 1 o'clock Eastern or 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 Mountain, noon Central. There's a $75 a month package available if you want to join on a 3-month basis. You could try it out for $98 for 1 month, or you could do a drop-in for $68. I try to get people to come for a month, so I kind of make that high, because I feel like if you just come for one, unless you've been with us in the past, you could just come in and jump out. It's hard, you know, you're in a group and they're used to vibing with each other and you're trying to get in it. So I just prefer people come for a month. And then, yes, we do custom workouts, custom schedule, custom content. based on what it is you want to try to achieve. And so it can be a recurring or it can be a one-time event. And usually it's more fun to have a few people in on that just because there's more interactive stuff going on. But definitely could do one-on-one and have done one-on-ones. One-on-ones.
This is such a valuable component. Do you perceive down the road that you'll have a segment on your audition tape that includes improvisation as well?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I've done it so many times in auditions, but because it's improvising in the moment, I really have never put together anything as a demo of improv stuff. But it's an interesting idea. It's
I can see it happening because it's such a competitive market.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
people can see what's in your head and kind of.
Yeah, that's a kind of a cool idea. Yeah, for something different. John, you had a question? I saw you raise your hand. John Clickman?
I'm sorry, I did not. I was just hitting the buttons and I was goofing around.
Right,
I was goofing around. Sorry about that.
No worries. Lacey.
Sorry, I was on a meeting. Hi. Well, first of all, it's really nice to meet you. This is my first time looking at any kind of improv ever. And so I was just curious. This all looks like really cool. But is there a way to practice improv when you're by yourself as well? Or is it all this kind of like class interactive? You need other people to kind of bring the practice part of it out. I mean, obviously you can come up with these things when you're doing your scripts, but is there a way to do stuff by yourself?
In a way, yes. I think that the true value comes from interacting with others because you have to be more on your toes that way. But that reminds me, Lacey, and thanks for asking, that I have put together a list and I've sent it out to people as sort of a gift, but it's just a PDF. Well, it's important because it lists several structured games you can play by yourself as an actor. And in fact, the grandmother of improv, Viola Spolin, she actually wrote a book that is improv for actors. This is not for voice only, but for actors, working solo. So you could always play with something like that, adapting it as you want to, or just play with it, you know, in real space, using her book as a guide. Yeah, so I'm reminding myself to send out the by self, I'll put my note PDF as a follow-up to this. So good question, Lacey. There's some things you can do. You can absolutely do things by yourself. You can just make yourself in fact, you know, here's a side story. When I was dating that comedian, and I was really just doing my studies at that time, I didn't have my voiceover demo or anything. I was working this job and funny thing was I just had to deal with a lot of different people data. And sometimes I had to do research and stuff, and it was really, really kind of boring for me. I'm not that kind of a person. I need to be more interactive. And so he said, play this with yourself every time you see a name before you look at their info. Just see the name and come up with a whole history on that person. Like, what do they sound like? What do they look like? Where are they from? Just based on the name, just the first name and last name. I mean, that's a game you could play by yourself. You could say, you know, grab a paper and see, you know, grab an article and see who wrote the article and don't look at anything else and just go, oh, let me tell you the history of this person, you know?
Back when I did like corporate jobs, that's exactly what I would do, honestly, because it just kind of kept my mind awake really while I'm doing that type of work.
Exactly, to kind of make you have fun, you know, and get your job done, get the hard stuff done. What other questions?
I was gonna, if I could add, I don't have a ton of experience improv, but I'm a writer, and when I'm writing, one of the things that I'll do is actually act out the scene in character by myself, and I'll play all the different parts, and I'll just sit there and act it out and see how it sounds and how it comes out to me before I write anything down. Wow. And I find that helps a lot in that sense. My sort of voice acting informs my writing and vice versa.
That's very cool, Randy. Thank you for sharing that. In fact, does anybody else have any other suggestions for the questions we've heard? Yeah.
I have a great way to, Lacey, your question was can you play by yourself, and how it works, how the improv works for us is there's a structure that we follow, which is naming people, a name, a place, who they are, and what they are doing specifically with their hands. This is a structure that we work on. And to build characters, what I've done in the past is I'll go through my ABCs and 1, 2, 3s all the way to 30 in character. So let's say you have a character and you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? Go all the way to Z, and then go from 1 to 30. And the reason why is you have to build stamina with characters. You got to be able to sustain this stuff throughout a scene and throughout a commercial. Let's say you book a 60-second commercial. Well, a great way to do it is go into a character, change your voice a little bit, and then do the basics, because we learned ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, you know, in kindergarten, in preschool. So a great way to do it is just that way you have a structure. Go to your ABCs with the character. And that way you
it
build
helps you
stamina
develop
and a
that character further out too, because maybe the way you've been playing with him, he only says a few things, but if you go through the alphabet, you have all the sounds phonetically and the numbers. Great.
Yeah.
Beverly,
It gives like the foundation in that sense.
Yeah.
the foundation.
Beverly?
Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say, when you do it by yourself, I do it with other people. And the way that I do it is, you know, when you go into a store, I was there yesterday in one of my local stores, and everybody wears a name tag, and they automatically, as you're coming through, how are you this afternoon or this morning, you know, and they just keep going. I make it a habit to look at their name tag and see their name. So I say, so Rebecca, how are you this afternoon? And I get them into a conversation. I might use a character. I might use an accent. They don't know who the hell I am. So I just go with it and interact with them that way. And
That's
I have
great,
to
Bev.
say, it's because of improv. I did 26 weeks of in-person improv. I much prefer being blank, as everybody that knows me knows. But what it's done is it's given me the confidence to actually do that.
That's awesome.
Real quick, Rebecca, Bev is a regular in our sessions. Bev, what do you think? How has it helped you?
Well, I am an introvert, as I think most of us probably are, and it has really given me a lot of confidence in my ability to stand up in front of people, to interact with people. I have a terrible time using the telephone. I mean, it's like there's this wall that says, don't use the phone. Don't ask me why. Analysis probably would help that. But anyway, but improv has really kind of flatten that out for me. I may think about it, oh, I'm going to bother this person, but I go ahead and do it anyway now.
Yay. Yahoo. Thank you.
It's a real confidence builder for me.
Yeah.
And it helps with my characterization when you talked about, you know, visualizing people.
How about when you get like salesmen calling you? That's a great way to practice.
Oh my God. Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
I wanted to get a
and then we're
quote
going to
on
wrap it up. And if anybody has to go, you know, we already hit our top of the hour, so that's okay. Go ahead, Bev. Yeah, let's hear your story.
I wanted to get a quote for my house insurance because it's come due, and you know, I wanted to get another quote. One quote, that's all I wanted. Made the mistake of going to AAA and asking for a quote. Within 10 minutes, I'm not kidding you, within 10 minutes, I got 25 calls. Either email calls, text messages, whatever, trying to get me to talk to them about my house insurance. And this one guy called me the following morning, and up on my caller ID, it said, public message. And I thought maybe it's the town. I mean, they do that. So I answered it. And this guy says to me, hey, Bev, this is Rich. I'm like, who the hell is Rich? I didn't say that to him. I said, who's Rich? And he went on to say about the insurance. So I went back and I said, you know what? I wanted one quote. That's all I wanted. And everybody that's called me, I've blocked their number, which I'm going to do to you when we get off the phone. Click. So that's what it did for me. It just so damn improv kicks in once in a while.
in the good and in the secure and all that. Yeah.
That's right. Nice. That's right.
Excellent. Hey, I just want to say shout out to Lacey, Josiah, Randy, and Jackson for showing up with the invite from Katie. That's really appreciated. And thanks to the rest of you for coming. Michael, for helping me so much as you always do. And for Anna, who's a former, who we love seeing every once in a while. And Bev, who's a regular. And Katie, my dear friend, mwah, thank you so much. That's it for today. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. My contact info is at the site. I put the links in the chat. And I will send out the what you can do by yourself, and I'll send out some warm-ups to you for fun as well. All right. Thank you for
Come
coming.
and join us.
you.
Thanks,
Take
Rebecca.
care.
You.
Bye,
Bye.
bye,
Come play with
everybody.
us.
Bye.
Bye.